So we're going to present an elementary example lesson, elementary mathematics, infused with some social emotional learning. Okay? So if you remember coordinate planes, when we had that first quadrant of coordinates, when you're playing Battleship, okay? What I'd like you to draw on your paper is a 5x5 coordinate grid. But I have a letter in mind that I've already predetermined in this coordinate grid. So one of you will begin, and you will step on a particular coordinate grid. You're not going to step in the box, because that's not the intersection we talk about in math. We talk about the intersection points. So they're going to step on the coordinate grid. Now, to help your friends out here in the audience, they're going to be logging down what the correct coordinate grids are. And they're going to start to see a map emerge. How would you report out the current place you are standing? What grid points are you standing?
3, 0.
Okay, because we know that we start, when we report out coordinate grids, we start with the x, and then we do the y-axis. So she's on 3, 0. Now, the only time you will log that down at your seat is if I tell her that it's correct. Okay? Here's what they're going to focus on. So you're doing the mathematical component. The other thing I want us to focus on from a social-emotional lens is this idea of empathy. And I know that doesn't seem like coordinate grids, empathy, that doesn't seem to flow together. We'll get to that point. What I'd like you to focus on is, as you're going through this activity at this portion, I want you to focus on, we're defining empathy as third graders. We're defining empathy as showing kindness to others by trying to understand what they're feeling. Okay? So as you go through the experience, I want you to try to focus on not only what you're feeling, but trying to understand when that person's in the moment, when they're in the grid, what might they be feeling at that point in time. Okay?
All right, 1, 0.
1, 0 is the first correct entry point. So those that are logging, I'd like you to log down that intersection and then also log down the coordinates. Okay, so now you can go ahead and make a guess of what the next point would be.
Okay, so 1, 1.
Okay, 1, 1 is the next correct entry point. Where's the next correct intersection point? Yeah, you can't tell her anything.
Oh, that's right.
You're good.
All right, so 1, 2.
Okay, 1, 2 is the next correct step.
All right, 1, 3.
1, 3 is the next correct step.
1, 4.
1, 4 is the next correct step.
Keep going. Sorry, we can't. 1, 5.
1, 5 is not the next step. So 1, 0 is correct. 1, 1 is correct. 1, 2 is correct. 1, 3 is correct. 1, 4 is correct. 2, 4 is correct.
3, 4.
3, 4 is correct.
4, 4.
4, 4 is incorrect. Incorrect. Correct?
1, 1.
Correct?
1, 2.
Correct.
1, 3.
Correct.
1, 4.
Correct.
2, 4.
Correct.
3, 4.
Correct.
3, 3.
Correct.
3, 2.
Not correct.
Good job.
So again, 20 seconds to talk as a team, 20 seconds to chat. What could the letter potentially be?
1, 2. 1, 3. 1, 4. 2, 4. 3, 4.
You do get turned around up here.
3, 3. 2, 3. 2, 2.
Awesome. So, first one.
1, 2. 1, 3.
Good.
1, 4. 2, 4. 3, 4. 3, 3. 2, 3.
Remember, they know. They did log it. Now, they're done. That's what we know.
Okay. 1, 3.
That's not correct.
Oh.
Go diagonal. Go diagonal.
Okay, good job.
Here.
Right, go back to your recording. Go ahead.
Okay.
Because it's a
So
block.
1, 1.
Correct.
1, 2. 1, 3.
Where's the peanut gallery?
1, 4.
Correct.
2, 4.
Correct.
3, 4.
Correct.
3, 3.
Correct.
2, 3.
Correct.
Um,
No. Talk to your team.
2.
Correct. Let me check with the person who was actually in here. Did anybody who was actually in here reported those particular coordinates incorrectly? How did you actually feel at that time? Does that equate with maybe how you were feeling? Right.
Frustrated.
Frustration. Okay, so now we're hearing that she may have felt that way of letting the team down, but she also felt frustrated. Why would someone feel frustrated in here? Try to go from an empathy standpoint. Try to understand, why would she feel frustrated when she was making a mistake in here?
She worked so hard to get there, and then it was like, oh, it's over.
But now let's take it to the so what. So when in our lives, even though we're supported by a number of individuals every single day, when in our lives are there times as a third grader? Put yourself in the third grader perspective. When's a time when it's me, and I've got to make the choice? And if I make the choice, I might feel frustrated. I might feel like I'm letting somebody down, but I can't get help from anybody else at that moment. I've got to make the choice. What's a third grade decision? Okay, I got to make the right choices when I'm taking that test, and I've got to decide. I got to commit. It might not be fun, but I'm going to have to make that jump, and I know I'm going to feel it's going to be a difficult situation. And so, let me just fast forward one last time. So maybe if that's a life situation that I brought myself into, what I can do as a caring person in the classroom is understanding that while that individual who's taking that test might be feeling that, what I can do is being able to realize that and try to picture myself in their shoes, and then try to provide them with as much support as possible when I can, when they're not in that alone. So maybe it's before the test, and now I might ask some examples of what can I do for somebody to help support them before they go into a test like that. What can I do after that? And we continue to kind of go down that line. Now, I could have, in this activity, I could have shortened, lengthened different kinds of conversations, but the infusion here is we didn't just do this, which would normally have been a maze activity and had nothing to do with coordinate grids, and we would have just gone through this maze. They would have been a nice collaborative conversation about maybe empathy. Or we could have just done straight up coordinates, like write your coordinates down, we need to understand coordinates, math, good. But now my thought, my hope, and this is what I'd like you to have the first conversation with in your group of 3, is what do you think will stick with students if they experience coordinate grids and empathy as an example in this context? What do you think sticks with students? And maybe just go from the perspective of what sticks with you when it comes to this, and then why. So thanks for participating. Thanks for being up here. Go back to your groups, please.